Hello everyone, this is your Captain speaking and welcome back to my Zodiac 12. This episode is about Capricorn. The original model is called Kars Irongrave Knight from Reaper Mini. Link for it will be in the description. Now I'm actually extremely proud of how Capricorn turned out. I chose a model that was entirely a metal armor suit, so I knew it could either be really easy or really hard. The easy approach is just to paint it with metallic paints. The hard part is to use completely non-metallic metal painting. I knew I needed more practice with non-metallic metal, so I went for that route. For a simple, controllable base tone, I made a dark mixture of angel green and plate mail metal. Mixing metallic paints with normal ones is a fun technique I picked up to make it so it's easy and already slightly shiny to give it a sheen before I even do NMM. I realized pretty early on that the extremely thin base that came with the Mini was really hard to hold, so I glued them to an extra small plastic base I had lying around. Once all that had dried nicely, I gave the entire Mini a dark tone wash. Now we get to the hard part. I wasn't positive how this is going to work out, so I wanted to take my color palette and practice my technique on the back plate where I could test it out. I used pure angel green, pure goblin green, a mix of the two, and some corpse pale to go from darkest to lightest highlights. It's hard to explain NMM. It's kind of all intuition, but the lightest parts won't always be at the top of the Mini like they are if you do normal zenithal highlights. They're wherever the sun hits the armor. It'll be different for every Mini, but my best advice is for you to look up some reference pictures and videos on armor. It's what I did. Don't be afraid to let it get too extreme though. If your armor is really bright and shiny, odds are you'll probably be using a pure white or off-white paint at some point. But of course, don't take my word for it, this is one of the first times trying this out. Once I was moderately satisfied that the metal looked right to me, I started out with the rest of the armor, leaving large spaces of really dark green and making some very small highlight enhancements. Sorry for all the out of focus shots, my camera's autofocus sucks and miniatures are really small. The breastplate was interesting since there was a huge skull right in the middle of it, but I remembered that a good tip is to keep your brightest highlights near the head of the Mini so that people's eyes are drawn to it, so I decided to use that. Here you can see my completed helmet, chestplate, and legs. I was really liking how this was going, so I just kept doing the same things. For the leather belt, shield straps, and axe handle, I made a mixture of alien purple and oak brown. I decided to add some corpse pale to my original mix and just wet blend and dry brush the highlights roughly together. It helps make it look more rough leather than clean. Then I dotted some pure corpse pale into very small areas to give it an even more weathered look. Next I moved on to the axe. This was kind of worrying because it's a really large flat surface and I had no idea where to put the highlights, but I approached it like I did the rest of the armor. Shield I did in roughly the same way, but I only highlighted exactly half of the surface to make it sort of seem like there was a curvature in the middle of it. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I liked it. So then there was this issue that I'd been kind of dreading this whole time. The symbol. Where the frick is it gonna go? I tried to put it on that teeny pendant on the shoulder, but it was way too small to fit. I also tried the right side of the helm, but that was too small too. Finally, I settled on making a huge one right on their back. Most other symbols wouldn't have been such a problem, but Capricorn has to be all fancy, so here we are. So it looks pretty good if I do say so myself. I started with pure goblin green, then kept adding white, making it thinner. Taking some pure black, I painted in the eyes and the horns, and I based all the visible chainmail in it. Just white into the black in a couple of stages and dry brush to the layers on. Starting on the base, I gave it a coating of Armageddon dust. Once it all dried, I poured some model glue all over it and poured on a thick layer of fine sand. I gave it a heavy green tone wash, then took different shades of grey and brown and picked out some of the stones. And that brings me to the end of Capricorn. I really hope you enjoyed it and maybe you learned something. If you have some ways I could have made this better, I would love to hear your opinion in the comments below. On the screen are links to my commission miniature painting business, Eye of the Beholder, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!